Hi, this is Richard Blade, and you're listening to the Blue Zone Podcast Network as it presents Permanent Record, an in-depth look at the classic albums of the 70s and 80s, albums which have earned a permanent place of honor, both in our hearts and in our record collections.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the Permanent Record Podcast for August. It's the first episode of August. Sarah, how are you?
Oh, I am spectacular. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing very well, and I'm being optimistic by saying this is the first episode of August. I'm pretty sure we'll have another episode in August.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can probably eke one out.
But it's getting tough, folks, to do these episodes. All of a sudden, the world has kind of opened up a little bit, and we find ourselves, Friday is our day to work on podcasts, really.
Yeah.
Because here I'll reveal a little secret. I don't work on Fridays, so I always do most of my podcast work on Fridays. Sarah has every other Friday off, but the last 3 Fridays we've had to travel for concerts.
I know. What a good problem to have, right?
It is a good problem. It's great to be going to some shows again.
Yeah.
And not feeling too uptight about it. But man, it's really making it difficult to do these episodes.
It is, yeah. Live music is getting in the way of us talking about music from the past.
So we are here today. We're getting ready to go on our big summer vacation. I don't know if you guys know this. If you've listened for a while, you may notice we always disappear in the beginning of August. Mm-hmm. And that's because that's when we always go away for a summer trip. So we're about to do that, and we wanted to get something out before that.
Yes.
So we're going to do an episode on Aha Scoundrel Days, where we will talk about exactly one song.
Yes. There is a precedent here, if you recall. We did do this already before in the not too recent past, where I think we talked about one song off of Queen's The Miracle.
Oh, that's right. We did do episode 3.5.
Yeah. This is similar. And hey, this is even a single. That wasn't even a single. So at least there's a little more justification for this one having its own episode, unlike The Rain Must Fall. Yeah.
All right. So before we get into it, we're making this seem like this is going to be a really brief episode. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's true.
No, probably not, given our history.
Yeah, we're nothing if not loquacious.
Yeah, I have a good number of notes on this song. So, and plus you have some other things you want to get to first.
Right. So let's get into that before we even get started. A lot of things from last time.
Yeah.
So the first thing is something from me. This reflects poorly on me, Sarah. You're immune to this. But last time I was going through the review. It was in the review section of the episode, but I was talking about Record Mirror, how they didn't review the single Manhattan Skyline, but they did cover the band as they came to the UK, and they did a signing at a record store. And then, if you remember, Morton was seen drinking free orange juice at an event. They kind of teased him.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And I went through all that stuff. I read those entries from the magazine, but never really ultimately got to my point. I didn't realize it until I was editing it, where I said, I never
wrapped it up.
I never wrapped this up.
Okay.
But my point was, I was trying to get you guys listening all fired up because we had talked about 4 amazing songs so far on side 1 of this album, songs of indisputable musical worth and value that exude talent and show songwriting at high levels with incredible vocals. And Record Mirror is treating this band horribly. They're treating them as a joke. You listen to the song, the title track, Scoundrel Days. You listen to Manhattan Skyline, which is such an interesting song to come out in the mid-'80s.
Right.
It's not like anything else on the radio. But the way they're treating this band is so insulting based on the talent that is on display on this record. And that was ultimately going to be my point, but something distracted me, and I never made it. I just read these weird articles. So
yeah, I think unfortunately they were very subject to that. People took one look at them and said, oh, well, they're just a bunch of pretty faces, nothing behind it. And of course, we've gone to great lengths over the course of many episodes, not just for Scoundrel Days, but all the other albums we've discussed by Aha. The fact that these fellows are pretty musically talented and they need to be given more credit. And then that has finally happened. But boy, back in the day, back in 1986, it was still tough going for them.
Yeah, it definitely has changed over the course of time. And I think we mentioned in one of our earlier episodes, the different bands that have come out and said, like, Aha has influenced us from the very beginning.
For sure.
Coldplay is always the one that springs to mind, but there are other ones. And the critical reception of Aha, the movie, has been wonderful to see.
Yeah. It was fun that we watched it again recently. So now we've seen it twice. It is a very entertaining, enjoyable, very informative look at the band and their history.
And now when you go on Google and search for Aha, a lot of results that you get, even if you're not looking for the movie, you will get results, publications talking about the movie, and it's also positive. People saying, like, this is a band that is more than one song, and they have stood the test of time, and they are so talented. So it's great to see, and it's just something that back in 1986, 87, from the Smash Hits, Record Mirror, #1 magazine level of the press, and probably elsewhere
Rolling
as
Stone,
well.
yeah,
Nobody was treating the guys with the respect they deserved.
Now I want to jump in just a moment here, do something that we didn't talk about, but since we were talking about the Aha movie, it just reminded me that, I got a notice from the Aha Newswire the other day about their next movie coming out.
True North.
Yeah, and they finally have announced that the tickets for that movie, which will be shown in theaters throughout the world on, I think it's September 15th, those tickets are going to go on sale on August 4th. So I don't know if you'll hear this news in time for...
They won't, Sarah.
But at any rate, by the time you hear this, they should already be on sale, and hopefully you can find them in an area near you. Look out for those. And the movie is supposed to be in theaters all over the world on September 15th.
Very cool. I wish I had more time to edit early in the week so I could get this out in time to alert people, but I'm sure they will either see it because they follow AHA on social media, or we can put a link out on our pages to make sure folks see it.
We sure can do that.
So, yeah, I'm really excited about True North. As we said last time, some folks have written to us and have mentioned, that they really like the sound of everything that we've heard so far as well. So I have a good feeling about the record still.
Yeah, me too.
Now, speaking of people writing to us, Sarah,
yes,
we've had a number of people, and thanks to all of them who have written since our last episode. And it turns out our crack research staff really dropped the ball last time.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, when we were talking about October, nobody here on staff at Permanent Record Podcast noticed that Paul's band Savoy has covered this song.
Uh-oh. Womp womp. How did we miss that? Or how did they miss that? Those fine folks who do the research for us.
You don't even have to be that nice to them, Sarah. They're just college interns. We don't have to say fine folks. They're doing grunt work. They're just college kids.
Right.
But they missed this, so their grade's gonna it's gonna reflect that this semester.
For sure. Yeah. But, has to.
Dawn awaits a sleepless English town of color gray. Here I roam the streets without you. The summer fades away. Down in the city at night.
I'm sure by now I've already played a clip of the song here in the episode, so you've heard a little bit of it. If you didn't know it existed, like we didn't know.
Yeah.
I got to say, I liked it better than the AHA version, but I still don't really like it.
Okay.
And this is something I've discussed online in the past couple weeks with folks a little bit too. I'm just not a fan of Paul's singing. I just don't like his voice.
Right.
I think that he's really a talented songwriter. I think he writes fantastic songs. He's just really lucky, in my opinion, that he hooked up with Morton.
Yeah, I would agree. He's just not the same as Morton. Then again, who is?
Who is, really? So check that out if you liked the little sample that you heard, and forgive us for not being aware of it. We could have addressed it last time, but we did not know about it.
Hey, it just gave us something else to talk about in this episode, right?
That's true, because we need more because we're 9 minutes into it, and we still only have one song to cover. All right, so we do have something else to talk about.
Oh, good.
Even before we get to that song.
Oh, my
Sarah,
goodness.
do you know how when we were talking about our personal history with this album,
Yes.
we talked about how we had most of the 5 first albums on CD, but we had this one on cassette.
Right.
And the question was, like, whose cassette was this? And I said it was yours, and you said, well, I don't remember it being mine. I don't think you were as assertive as I was. I don't think you said it was yours, Brian.
I was pretty wishy-washy about it, but it didn't ring a bell with me as something I had purchased.
Well, folks, I remember where the cassette is from.
Okay.
I know you've all been waiting with bated breath, hoping
Ooh,
I would
drum
be able to
roll.
reveal where the cassette came from. I do remember. This is what happened. I heard Dark as the Night for All, got really into AHA, started listening to Hunting High and Low as I waited for the full album to come out, Memorial Beach. That album came out. I loved it just as much as I loved Hunting High and Low, so I said, I've got to get all the AHA albums. I found East of the Sun on CD. I found Stay on These Roads on CD, but I could not get Scoundrel Days on CD. So I worked at a record store at that time. I think it just wasn't in print here in the U.S.
Okay.
And I was not able to get it, but our music store did have it on cassette. Even though it was out of print, it just had been there for a while and hadn't sold. So that's what I bought it on. I remember it hit me the other day. I was like, oh yeah, I just bought that because I didn't have a choice. We didn't have a CD and we couldn't order the CD. So I figured, well, I need this album. I might as well just get it on whatever format I can.
Yeah.
So it was my cassette. I did buy it, and it wasn't a cutout. It has no hole drilled in it, so I paid full price.
Wow. All like, what, $10 or something? I don't know.
I don't remember what it was. I think it was probably $11.49.
Okay. All right.
All right. Now, going back to October, Sarah, we very bravely and kind of in a cocky manner put out the call for voicemails to have people, if they took offense to our October review.
Oh, yeah.
So let us know.
We've stood our ground. We've made our point. Now fight us on it.
Right. We were just itching for a fight that day. So one person did take us up on the offer. We have a voicemail from our friend James Cook.
Okay.
Who was on the last episode, I think, with a voicemail. And he called us again and gave us his opinion on October. So
excellent. Let's hear it.
Let's turn things over to James.
Hi, Brian and Sarah. It's James from London again. Great to hear the next part of the dissection of Scoundrel Days. But I have to say I was reeling, though, when I heard that you both didn't like October particularly. My jaw dropped like a fish at feeding time. Really surprised. I'll agree with you. It's not certainly less strong than the other tracks on the album, but I think October's like a palate cleanser after the first three really epic tracks. So for me, it fits perfectly. A bit like the fourth track on Stay on These Roads, This Alone Is Love. October's an intriguing, melancholic track. It reminds me of walking around a silent English town on a grey autumn Sunday morning, funnily enough. It's kind of spooky, understated, atmospheric, and gentle at the same time. So I'm totally biased here, as it's a 5 out of 5 vinyl adapters album for me ever since the late 80s, and it won't change. Manhattan Skyline, however, is a proper hairs stand on the back of your neck pop song. It's magnificent in every way, and in my own personal chart would have been number 1 in the UK for about 8 weeks. It's catchy. It's a very Jekyll and Hyde track with the romantic verse versus the angry chorus. So thanks again, guys. Looking forward to the next pod. Love the name Speak Pipe. It sounds like a 19th century telephone. Thank you. Cheerio.
James, I wish we could take credit for the name Speak Pipe.
Yeah.
That would mean we'd probably be internet millionaires, Sarah, but
probably.
It's just a site that we found.
Yeah.
And it's very helpful and we enjoy it, but
right.
I wish we could take credit for using that, coming up with the name Speak Pipe, but we can't. So Sarah, what do you think about James's email?
Well, he makes me think that I should like the song more based on his lovely description of it, but I still can't because I think of that and I just, no, it's just, I'm sorry.
I'm glad he likes it. And
yeah.
You're right. He does make me feel slightly guilty for not liking it. And I totally agree with his use of the word gentle for that song. I liked when he said that. He said atmospheric, which I think we mentioned.
Yes.
But gentle was not a word that I had thought of in terms of that song. And it really is.
It is.
And I kind of like that.
He also mentioned it being a palate cleanser, and we talked a little bit about that before in the previous episode, like a kind of a relief from the first 3 tracks and how much energy and gravitas maybe and, excitement that they had, and here's a change. I didn't want that change, and I think I said that before. I was happy to keep going on that path. I guess I understand, again, why they did that, and for some people that was very welcome. For me, it was like, no, not so much.
For me, a palate cleanser shouldn't taste disgusting. So that's why I don't see this song as a good thing, because it is a palate cleanser, but by the time I finish chewing it and swallowing it, I'm like, oh, that tasted really bad.
I love it. Yeah.
He compares it to the song This Alone Is Love, track 4 on Stay on These Roads.
Yeah.
Stay on These Roads is not as good an album as Scoundrel Days, but I kind of love that song.
That song is good. I really do like that song, and I would much rather hear it as a, quote, palate cleanser over October. It doesn't bother me to hear that song.
Now, my last question for James, moving on to his section of the email or voicemail about Manhattan Skyline.
Yeah.
He said that in his world, if he was in charge of the charts, Manhattan Skyline would have been a number 1 song for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I really want to know what would have kicked it off the number 1 spot. I can't believe he didn't mention, that's the thing I'm always into. Like if I see a song only went to number 2, I want to know what kept it from number 1. And if this song was number 1 for 8 weeks, what finally dethroned it. So James, you've got to call back. Let me know what song would have kicked Manhattan Skyline from the number 1 position after 8 weeks, because that's an impressive run, and it's going to be a mighty song that's going to do it.
You would have to think so. Yeah.
So let me know, man. I'm going to be wondering until then. Even if I'm on vacation, it's going to be in the back of my mind, spoiling my trip. So don't leave me hanging.
Oh, no.
And thanks for the voicemail, James.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate you calling in, because we love being able to feature voices on the show that aren't us.
Yes.
So, Sarah, while I get a sip of water, can you tell folks how they can leave us a voicemail in case they'd like to do the same thing?
I would be happy to do so, Brian. One way, of course, is the way that James has been doing, which is using speakpipe.com and going to /permrecordpod. And that is a really cool way to do it anywhere in the world. You get a minute and a half to leave a voice message, and that's a good amount, I think. If you're in the U.S., you can call us at 724-490-8324 and leave us a voice message there.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Now we have one final thing to address before we get into the discussion of Cry Wolf.
Okay.
You know John Lamoureux of the Hustle podcast?
I have heard of him, yes.
Well, you may not be aware of this, but on Facebook or Twitter or one of those social media things, I occasionally take some abuse from John Lamoureux over the way I pronounce the word wolf.
Really?
Yeah, because I actually don't say it the way that I've just said it twice.
Okay.
That's not how I naturally say it.
Okay.
And it's weird because I know that there's an L in the word. I can see it.
Yeah.
And I know how to read. But I generally say something very close to the word wolf.
Okay. Like
W-O-O-F.
Yeah, like what a dog says?
Yeah. And when I listen to myself say it, I can hear the little section of it, the split second of the word that's supposed to be the L.
Uh-huh.
There's just words that I say weird. Like I know that the word is Basildon.
Uh-huh.
But even though I know that there's a D there, I say Basildon. That's what I normally say.
Yeah.
And people say that it's Basildon. Like
The
we've had
D.
a number of emails like it's
Yes.
a D, not a T. And I
Yeah.
know that, but I somehow often make that T sound. And when I say wolf, I often say wolf.
Okay.
And John gets a kick out of that and has actually made fun of me a couple times on social media. So I just want to take this opportunity right now to say the word wolf. And then anytime when I'm listening to this, editing it, if I slip into my normal pronunciation, I'm just going to paste that in there, regardless of how bad it sounds. Because I don't want to give John Lamoureux even a second of satisfaction, or the ability to make fun of me over my bad pronunciation of
okay.
wolf.
You want to say it one more time?
Wolf.
Okay. Wow, you were trying really hard and succeeding at saying it properly and correctly. So,
Yeah, so far I am, but as soon as I take my mind off it, I'm afraid I'm going to start saying it the way I normally do.
okay.
And then I'll hear about it from that beautiful, bald SOB. All right, so let's get into the music.
We're flipping the record, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. This is side 2.
It is.
So we're going to listen to the first track on side 2 and learn about it today, and then we're going to go on our way.
All right.
So here it is, the second single from the album, the song entitled Cry Wolf.
He came from where the winds are cold to this scene through keyholes. Strange longings that'll never sleep. Oh, now it's come where no heart beats. Cry wolf, time to worry. Cry wolf, time to worry.
Okay. Here we go. This was the second single released from the album, as you said, and it was released on November 24th, 1986, which means it was also the first single that was released after the album actually came out. I believe the first single came out before the album was released. So,
Now, do you think that is the U.S. release date as well? Because I noticed that the song premieres on the Billboard Top 100 chart on January 24th, 1987.
really?
So I don't think it was released in America on that November date. I think that must be a European release date.
Yeah, I guess that must be true because I didn't see any reference to it in Billboard or Cashbox magazines of that time period at the end of November, beginning of December, and then I kind of gave up. I figured, wow, they're just done with AHA. Good for you that you did some more research, kept going and looking because I did not find it.
Yeah, I was trying to find some U.S. info, and there was not much to be found. I just found that date. I also noticed that it peaked almost 2 months later on March 14th, 1987. So it took almost 2 months, a month and a half at least, to climb to the lofty heights that it did on the U.S. pop charts. But we'll get to that very special number in a second. I'm going to leave you hanging there, and you'll wonder,
Yeah.
how well did this song do in the U.S.?
Yeah, well, before we get to the U.S., let's start with AHA's home country of Norway. Big surprise there. It did pretty darn well. It got to number 2. Number 2. Now, I don't know what kept it from number 1 on the Norway chart.
Oh, yeah, I meant to look. I actually did mean to look, but I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been able to find it. It was a top 10 single in 4 countries.
Right. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Do you know those 4 countries, Sarah?
Well, I think I do. Let's see. We got Norway at number 2, Ireland at number 4, the UK at number 5, and New Zealand coming in at number 10.
Very good. That's true. Now, I also have it down as a top 20 song in 5 more additional markets. Do you know
Ooh.
those markets?
I only have 3 of those listed. Number 12 in the Netherlands. It was also number 13 in Italy and South Africa.
Also a top 20 song in Belgium and West Germany.
Okay.
I didn't write down the numbers. I just wrote top 10, top 20, top 40.
Okay.
So it was a top 40 song, meaning it was somewhere between 21 and 40 in France and Switzerland. And at the end of the year in Europe, it was the number 93 song of the year. So
Hey.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, Australia in the past, we've kind of made fun of Australia for not coming through for us,
Yeah.
especially with Depeche Mode, I think was what it
know.
was. Australia really didn't have much time for this song. It only peaked at number 45.
Yeah.
But we can't-
outside the top 40.
Yeah, we can't wave our finger in disgust at them too much because here in the U.S.,
Nope.
oh man,
Ugh.
this song peaks at number 50. And it is indeed the last time that Aha would hit the top 100 chart in America.
That is so sad.
No other song. Think of all the songs by Aha that you know and love.
Right.
None of them made the top 100 here.
Ugh, what is wrong with us?
It is terrible.
Now, on a very slightly more positive note, it did get to number 14 on the Billboard Hot Dance Club chart in America.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And that is where I would always look for good music back when I was a kid because none of the songs I liked were ever climbing higher than like 60 on the
Yeah.
top 100, but they would all be top 20 dance hits.
That's true.
So-
And, yeah. So
Kudos to those people in the clubs back in the mid 80s for making this one a pretty big hit on the dance chart.
yeah, and it's definitely a danceable tune. So I'm glad that the DJs were playing it and people were dancing to it.
Back then I had this vision of like the UK charts being this mecca of awesome music, how, our top 40 was terrible. Hardly any good songs, but over there they must have had so many great songs in the top 40. So I looked at the top 40 the week that this song peaked in the UK
Okay.
to see what else was in the top 40. And they also had their share of bad songs, much like we did. As a kid, I wouldn't have thought that was possible. But they had a bunch of good songs too. I just wrote down some just because I was like, oh, these songs were not nearly as well received here in the US as a rule, but the Eurythmics' Miracle of Love was number 25, which is a really good underappreciated song off of the Revenge album. Debbie Harry's French Kissin' in the USA, which is not really one of her better songs, but I think it's written by the guy who created that show with Charlie Sheen, 2.5 Men, which is weird. That was number 22. The Pretenders were at number 19 with Hem to Her, which is a very beautiful song. The Communards were on their way down. They were at number 12 with So Cold the Night.
Oh, yeah.
That first Communards album is still like one of the most enjoyable records to listen to, in my opinion. And here in the U.S., it got no love. Although I did see one week Billboard did give them kudos. It said Communards have moved from 88 to 81 with their song Don't Leave Me This Way, which isn't a big jump in and of itself, but they've been picked up on a great number of stations. So I think the song ultimately peaks at number 40 here in the U.S. and then disappears. Erasure was at number 7 with Sometimes,
Oh,
so that was
yeah.
great because Erasure, as famously, Wonderland did not do anything on the charts in
Right.
the UK. Then all of a sudden, the
This-
circus comes out and people love it.
This was kind of their breakthrough hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And speaking of Vince Clarke, he's at number 7. His old partner, Alison Moyet, is at number 3 with Is This Love?
Oh, yeah.
And the number 2 song, Sarah, was a song called Caravan of Love. Do you know that one?
I sure do. Yeah, that was the Christmas number 1 that year, and it was by the House Martins.
Exactly. I was hoping you were going to say it was by the Beautiful South by mistake, and then I would correct you.
No.
I would say this. If you made a mistake, I would do this.
Shame on you.
And you would know that our friend Andrew Donnelly was displeased.
Shame on you.
I put that in our soundboard in case we ever need it.
In case you ever need to give someone a little chastising. Yeah. No, I knew that. I think we talked about that before. I don't know. Somehow I knew it. I think it was supposed to be Christmas number 1, and I think it might have actually gotten pushed off by Reet Petite.
Yeah, I think when we talked about it, he was in like a pub somewhere on Christmas Day and found out that it wasn't the number 1 song. But
There was some finagling
Yeah.
going on, some
Right.
kind of...
I vaguely
don't
remember
know.
talking about that.
Yeah.
I forget why.
I don't know, but it should have been. I think in some circles it was the Christmas number 1, but not everywhere. Yeah, it was kind of a weird situation. Anyway,
That's all the chart information in a very long-winded roundabout way. I just also want to point out that it's of note that this is the first single release to come from the pen of Mags.
okay.
The A-side, Cry Wolf, is by Mags. And the B-side was Maybe Maybe,
Yes.
which is also a Mags track. So
Yeah.
good on him for finally getting a full A and B side single to himself.
All right.
Did you see the weird? I don't even understand it. I tried to find a picture of it, but I can't even imagine what it is. But in Europe, there was a collector's edition, limited edition. Wait, let me let me try to read this. This is what it's called: collector's limited edition fold out picture bag
Yeah.
for the 7-inch single.
Yeah.
I was like, what is? And then I typed all that in, and I just wanted to see a picture. What is a picture bag?
I don't know, but I saw that entry on Discogs, and I saw 3 pictures associated with it, and I saved them off, and I'll post them in the show notes. I could not tell that if they formed into a bag of some kind or if those were just like pictures that were in a poster kind of.
Yeah, like maybe the record and those photos were in some sort of bag or an envelope or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I sort of
It wasn't
couldn't
like
tell from the picture.
Yeah, it wasn't a bag made of those pictures, I don't think, because that's what I think of when I hear picture bag. Like it's a bag with the pictures on it.
Right.
I don't think that's what it was.
Well, if anyone has that or knows what it was, let us know exactly what it is, because I'm kind of curious. Once again, I don't want to be on vacation with that in the back of my mind, spoiling my trip.
Oh, I know.
So let me know if you know.
Tell us all about it. Speaking of telling people about it, do you have any reviews?
I do have some reviews. All of
Okay.
my reviews are more contemporary in nature.
Well, I have one full review from back then, back in the day. I have a snippet of another review from back then, and then I have a kind of a review from just last year.
All right. Well, do you want to go first?
Of course, my first one is from Smash Hits. And this is a review by Ro Newton. And here is what she says. You're going to love it.
Oh, boy.
Not. It is with great disappointment that I have to report that Cry Wolf is definitely a non-starter. It begins with a snazzy, fast-moving disco beat, ends with a snazzy, fast-moving disco beat, and surprise, surprise, there's plenty of snazzy, fast, disco-moving beats in the middle. Catchy but repetitive and quite tiresome after a few plays. Pity there's none of Morton's soulful croonings apart from his impersonation of a wolfhound, which definitely won't win him any lead roles in werewolf films.
All right, I sort of understand what she's saying. The song is about 4 minutes and 6 seconds long, and about the last 85 seconds is the chorus over and over and over. So I do feel that this single could have been edited
Okay.
to like maybe 3.5 minutes,
Okay.
and it wouldn't have hurt things.
Yeah, I guess so.
Having said that, I don't mind it at the length that it is. We'll go into it later, things that I think that they do to make it sort of exciting, even though it's the same thing over and over and over. But yeah, I don't mind the length, but I can understand how someone might think it's a little bit too long.
All right. So you want to go next or you
All
want me
right,
to?
so I have one, like I said, all mine are from the more modern times.
Okay.
This is from that website that I discovered 2 episodes ago called Nirvana. It's the closest thing to Nirvana you can get without actually being there, it said. Something like
Okay.
that. And they say, Cry Wolf was the second single, but I'm dumbfounded as to why. It's very much old school sound here, as the keyboards carry the song pretty much through on its own. But its one-dimensional style is only really bearable for the reflective mid-song section. However, the track was a huge hit and outperformed both of the far superior songs released from this album. Now, I do agree with that last sentence. I do think that I've Been Losing You and Manhattan Skyline are more enjoyable songs than this one.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not dumbfounded as to why the song was a hit. I enjoy the song quite a bit,
Yeah.
as we will discover as we go forward.
Okay.
So I just want to say I agree with that one part of his review, but not with the general thesis of it.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to the past. I only have a snippet of this review from Number One magazine, and it was written by TV presenter Philip Schofield, maybe Schofield, I'm not sure. Anyway, he does say, there seemed to be an infectious buzz about Aha a while back, but after hearing this and the last single, which are both on Scoundrel Days, I'm not so impressed. It seems to just drift in and out.
I'm shocked that someone would hear I've Been Losing You and not be impressed, although I guess everybody in America who heard it wasn't impressed because
Yeah.
it didn't, chart anywhere. But that really, really shocks me to hear
I
someone just
know.
come out and say that about that song.
Yeah, I really sometimes wonder if these people that make these very brash statements, if they really took the time to listen or if they're just kind of giving it lip service and just saying, I can't like them, they're popular, they're too pretty or something. I don't know.
Or if, it's someone who legitimately is upset with the band because it doesn't sound like Hunting High and Low Part 2.
Well, maybe.
Which is something we talked about
Yeah.
in the first episode, that this is not what someone might expect as the follow-up to that album. I guess if someone came to it really wanting that sound again, I guess I can't fault them. Sorry it's not what you wanted. maybe try to appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, if you liked the band enough the first time around that you wanted more, try to open yourself up to what it is they're providing and see if you can, find something to appreciate it.
Yeah. That's a good statement. I like that.
So there is a website, an oddly named website called This Is Dig.
Yes.
They have a review of the whole album, I think, and I just took their brief comments about this particular song. They say, Cry Wolf does a solid job of bridging the gap between a-ha, the reluctant pop stars, and a-ha, the considered musical trio, perhaps dismissively still playing the part, which I thought was an interesting statement. So I wanted to ask you, do we here in this studio think that this song is them dismissively and against their better judgment throwing a bone to their 15-year-old fans?
No. That's my short answer. I don't think so. No, I don't. I think this song is too complex and mature.
You think this song is complex?
Well, I guess it's not as complex as the stuff on side one.
I would say that this is the least complex song that we've heard yet on this album. I would say that October is more complex than this song, and that this is the most straight ahead song.
That's true. But I don't think this is them throwing a bone. I think this is them just doing something kind of fun that they wanted to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that this is them trying to please anyone. I think that, and I have always thought, that this is a legitimate songwriting effort from Mags, who maybe just wasn't as advanced a writer as Paul at the time. Like, Paul has moved on to songs like Scoundrel Days and I've Been Losing You. Mm-hmm. Mags, who hasn't had as much, experience.
Yeah.
I mean, well, they've been writing songs together for the same amount of time, but, as you see in the movie, Mags, for a certain extent, depends on Paul for lyrics, and he, up to this point, wasn't an island unto himself.
Right.
And I think maybe is the first song he's going to write by himself. I think he writes those lyrics. But I have always thought that this was a valid attempt for Mags to write an upbeat dance song that was fun. And this is just what he came up with. I don't think they're playing to any particular part of their audience.
No, I don't either.
But like I said, I also think at the end of the day, this is a very straightforward song. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Very little of a middle eight.
True.
Chorus to fade for 90 seconds. So there's not much in terms of complexity here, but this is just a fun dance song.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I only have one more kind of a review. It's also from that same website, Dig. They published a list in January of 2021 called Best a-ha Songs, 20 Synth Pop Classics from Norway's Finest.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I recently found it, and I was very glad I did, because in that listing, they ranked Cry Wolf. You want to guess where they ranked it in the top 20?
I will predict that they ranked this one at number 12.
That's a pretty decent guess. It actually came in at number 14.
I was close with that being over.
Yeah. They say it's a solid slab of melodic synth rock that has matured nicely in the years since its 1986 release to comfortably sit among the best a-ha songs.
They don't go out on a limb really with anything there. So there's not much to respond to.
No.
But, I agree. It is a very solid song. Solid is a good adjective to describe it.
Yeah.
And it is, what do they call it? Dance rock?
Synth rock.
Synth rock.
Melodic synth rock.
I agree with that. Mm-hmm. That's what I would call it. And good on them for giving it some love, because it deserves some love. And I was surprised to see that it doesn't always get it from the critics out there.
Boo.
So my last review is from popmatters.com. It's very brief. They say the second half of Scoundrel Days struggles to keep the momentum going, but it's still far above mid-1980s average. In America, Cry Wolf managed to scare up some airplay, but only after Scoundrel Days had baffled many who were expecting Take On Me Part 2. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to include that whole thing, even the part about the momentum of the album, struggling to keep it going, because I asked everyone in the first episode here to track in your mind whether or not this was a perfect pop album as we went through it here. If you're listening to us in 2022 and there's these gaps between each episode, I'm sure you've forgotten that by now. But if you're listening in the future, if you're listening in 2023 and you're able to listen to these in rapid succession, hopefully you're doing that. And you're saying, so far all these songs have been great. Is it going to be perfect the whole way through? I don't know. That's sort of why I included the short review, because I think we can all agree that side 1 is much stronger than side 2 on this album. And we're going to obviously go into more detail on that in this episode and the next. But you really can't deny that. So let's consider, as we talk about the songs on the second half, just how much of a drop in quality there is. At the end of side 1, we gave our opinions on, how good side 1 is, with that one exception. At the end of side 2, I hate to be negative, And I don't think we're going to be all that negative, but let's just keep in mind that, maybe that these songs aren't as good as what we have in the first half.
Okay.
And see if we think the whole album suffers because of that.
Oh, that's an excellent thing to consider.
Before we move on to the song itself, I put this with the reviews just because it sort of is a review, but I hate to keep bringing up our friend John Lamoureux of the Hustle podcast.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, but a few months ago, he posed a question on Facebook for his Forgotten Friday feature where he features a forgotten pop single that he likes. And he says, for this week's Forgotten Friday, I have a serious question. Is this Aha song awesome or cheesy? And it was a link to Cry Wolf.
Oh.
Wolf. I was surprised he didn't get many responses, so maybe the audience of The Hustle doesn't really appreciate Aha. But one person said, it's awesomely cheesy.
Oh.
Or cheesily awesome.
Uh-huh.
Could describe a lot of 80s music, I guess. But I've loved all things Aha back then and still do today. So that person is an Aha fan who kind of admits, like, to a certain extent, this has that quality to it. And then the other comment was, of this period, Manhattan Skyline was the one. So,
like, they didn't really address the question.
So I remember John posing that question. Mm-hmm. That's something maybe we can keep in mind as we talk about this. Is this song, is it cheesy? And I don't know if he meant the song itself or the video, because he posted a link to the video.
I see.
So let's get into the song.
Yeah.
So Sarah, you have that nice Aha book that someone gifted you.
Yeah.
Were there any good stories about the creation of this song in that book?
Their Berry page has a lot of information about this song. So the first thing, and maybe you saw this elsewhere, but one of the first things I thought was very interesting is that the opening line of the song was not written by Mags or Paul or even Morton.
No, that's true. And that is something that is mentioned in the CD booklet.
For those wondering who it could be, if it wasn't any of the guys in the band, the answer is Lauren Savoy, Paul's girlfriend at the time, now his long-term wife. So, Night I Left the City, I Dreamt of a Wolf, that was written by her. And the title of the song, Cry Wolf, actually came from one of her film school manuscripts.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Another little tidbit about the making of this song is they got an old friend and bandmate to help out with the song. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Well, the former drummer of the band Bridges, and I'm going to probably slaughter this name, but I'm going to try, Oystein Javanord, maybe Javanord. I'm going to call him Oystein. I hope that's close to being correct. He actually helped record the demo of Cry Wolf in Oslo. He did the demo back then, and then he was asked to come to London for a week in 1986 as they were recording in the RG studio. I think that was what it was called, RG. He said they started from scratch using a drum machine on bass drum, snare, and cowbell. And then he did all the cymbals and fills using a full drum kit with lots and lots of tom-toms. I think you can tell that in the song.
Yeah, you can hear that. And that is cool to know because I did see that name in there because I was trying to find out if this was a drum machine the whole way through.
Yeah.
The way that the bass is, the bass is awesome in the song. And I was like, that fast-paced, synthesized bass, it's got to be all drum machines in here in order to keep up the pace. And when I checked in the CD booklet, it does list that guy's name as drummer, but I didn't know who he was. I didn't know his connection to Bridges, so that's cool to find out.
It's like a mini partial reunion of Bridges there for this song. So he came to London for like a week, stayed with the band, stayed with Mags, I believe. And as they were recording for this album, he did his take in about 20 minutes. So the rest of the time, he just kind of hung out. It was a pretty good gig for him. And he remembers that after a couple of test takes, Paul told him to, quote, go bananas. So he did. And that's the take they ended up using on the record.
Okay, well, there are some parts, some little segments in there fill in that is pretty bananas.
I agree. I was like, I can actually hear this in the final version, that he went bananas.
So Bridges, of course, we mentioned them in the first episode of this retrospective because I think Scoundrel Days, we pulled a little segment of an old Bridges song that they had mined for the Aha version.
That's right.
So that was the band that Paul and Mags were in before Morton had joined. And we're going to hear about them again before we get to the end of the album.
Yeah.
I think there's another song on here that comes directly from a Bridges track. So we'll hear that name again.
So I'll have to say Bridges and I'll maybe have to say Oystein again. He went on to actually join the live band in 1987 as their percussionist. So he was there with Mike Sturgis, who was on drums, and a few other folks kind of rounding out the band. So he was still with them even after the Bridges era. It's kind of cool.
There's that part in the Aha movie where where they all get together and do a signing of a reissue of a Bridges album.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was that guy.
Oh, maybe.
Can't remember the name, obviously, because we haven't seen it for a couple weeks. But
Right. We didn't take notes.
anything else from that book about the song?
Well, another thing that the author mentioned was the influence of the Doors on Paul and Mags is very apparent in this song, he feels. And he says that for many years, the band also regularly included a snatch of the, quote, cocktail jazz element of the Doors song Riders on the Storm during performances of the song. And I went out online and found an example of that from 2010 when they performed at the Royal Albert Hall. I thought that was pretty interesting because we've talked about their influences, and the Doors was definitely one of their big influences.
Yeah, they're always mentioned, but unfortunately, I don't like the Doors and I know very little about them because of that. So I'm not able to hear this song and discern where that influence is. But
There's a little keyboardy. That was a terrible approximation of it, but when I heard it on this YouTube video, I'm like, oh yeah, that's it right there. So anyone else who would know the Doors or just that song Riders on the Storm, they'll say, oh yeah, that's it for sure. So I thought that was kind of cool.
awesome. Well, it's cool to learn some things about the making of the song because they're kind of few and far between online. It's hard to come by information about a lot of these songs. I sort of jumped right into the track itself and things that I enjoy with the song, observations that I had. The first thing, you can't listen to this song and not want to comment on the really cool introduction.
Yes.
That this song has, because it's just really nice. You get this mix of these really nice synth chords, this very atmospheric percussion, which for some reason has always reminded me of something from Queen's Flash Gordon album.
Oh.
The way the drums just kind of come in and then
Yeah.
disappear for a little while and then come back. And I was like, oh yeah, it sounds just like, what is that song in Flash Gordon? So today I went through the entire Flash Gordon album and I couldn't find what I thought it reminded me of. So
Oh.
I don't know if I'm just nuts or if it's some music that's in the movie that's not on the CD, which doesn't make much sense, I don't think. I don't know. There's just something Flash Gordon about the introduction to me.
Well, I like that comparison better than the one I read. I found this on simply80s.com where they claimed that the intro sounded like it was inspired by the Dire Straits song Money for Nothing.
Oh, really?
And I was like, well, I guess I can see why they would say that, but I don't think that was the case.
I never thought that. I also like how they mix in what's either crowd noises from a concert
Yeah.
or souls screaming in torment. It's one of those two things. I listened all day. I haven't been able to figure out which one I think it really is.
I think it's a fake live crowd. That's what I have in my notes. I said I've always liked the fake live crowd opening to this song. I don't know why, but I'm a sucker for those. I've always enjoyed them. Even my first recollection of that being Benny and the Jets by Elton John. I love, it's obviously not really a live song, but they make it sound like a live song.
Don't they do that in an Erasure song on chorus?
Yeah, Love to Hate You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weird thing about the introduction to me is that I just found it odd that when you hit play at the very start of it, the first thing you hear is that like boom.
Yeah.
That sound that's like actually I don't know what it is. I think it's just like a really brief note on the synthesizer that just has no sustain to it. It's just a boom. And it's over, and then you get the sustained very low note that kind of drones through the whole introduction.
Yeah.
But I found it odd that it starts with that. I don't really know why I found it odd. Because you never hear that sound again, I don't think.
I don't think you do. I'd have to listen again for it, but I don't think so.
Yeah. And then you get, of course, up to the lyric that you mentioned, Night I left the city, dreamt of a wolf.
Yeah, what about when he says hello?
Well, that's what I'm going to get to.
Okay.
Which actually starts with Morton saying hello
Yeah.
in a totally Falco-sounding voice. I was listening to that today, and I was like, that sounds just like when Falco is singing The Kiss of Kathleen Turner on the Emotional album, and he picks up the phone and he's like, hello? And I was like, I'm going to go listen to that because I'm going to play it. But then when I listened to it, I was like, well, it doesn't really sound like that. Falco sounds like he's waking up out of a deep sleep.
Yeah.
And Morton doesn't sound like that. I was like, maybe there's a Hello in Vienna Calling where Falco sounds more like that. And then I got distracted and I forgot to look for it.
Oh, no.
So, in fact, I went on to social media and posted something about Falco.
Oh, that's right.
That's what distracted me. So the one thing that I'm learning as I listen to Morton carefully on this album, I didn't pick up on this when we were listening to Hunting High and Low all those years ago, but maybe that's because it was like our second record that we talked about. But if you listen to Morton's vocal sound effects and all the crazy stuff that he throws in between lines, he is so similar to Falco on this record.
Yeah, that's true.
It is crazy.
It is.
He's got a little bit of Falco in him.
Oh,
I like
well.
it. I like it.
Of course you do. That is an excellent and wonderful observation, and I would agree because I made some notes about his ad-libs, and yeah, once again, he's doing them here, and there's a really good one right before the beginning of the second verse where he's like, woo, woo, or something like that, because it actually goes really well with the video, because it's just as the boy falls to the ground in the barn, like he comes in running into the barn and falls down to look at his book, and it's like, woo, like it just happens right then, and it's really perfectly timed, and it's just adorable.
I do remember that in the song. I like it. I'm going to question when we get to the video. I'm going to question whether or not that boy really runs into a barn.
Oh.
Because it certainly looks like a barn inside, but I don't think that the outside of the building was a barn, but we'll argue about that.
Okay.
I have a lot of problems with this video, even though I love it. I'm going to spoil it by saying I love this video. This is my favorite video from this album.
Okay.
But I barely understand anything in it.
Well, then it could be like a, I don't know, Duran Duran video, right?
For this song, I'm going to go against many of the reviews we shared and say I think this is an excellent song and an excellent choice for a single. It's full of the things that I like in pop music, Sarah. It's
Yes.
synthesizers, upbeat drums, great vocals, and even more synthesizers.
Yeah.
So I hope you agree with me that this was a good choice for a single.
I completely agree. And I have very similar notes here. It says, so this is my kind of aha song.
Nice.
Peppy, dancey, and full of energy. It has an excellent driving beat, and the bouncy synths go right along with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's right there. And it's a wonderful side 2 opener.
Agreed. This is a great way to get side 2 off to a good start. It's going to peter out a little bit. Also, when I listened to this, I didn't explore this too much in my mind, but this song to me is sort of similar to You Are the One on the next album. This song has better production work.
Okay.
It just seems very similar. They're both like very straightforward synthesizer dance rock. You know, nothing complicated to them, but it's fun to listen to and fun to dance to.
Right. You know, we talked in the episode with the first few songs, like we used the words majestic and cinematic and, you know, really kind of epic words. I don't think that they apply to this song.
No.
But that does not make it any less enjoyable for me because I think it's very catchy and peppy and I'm going to say, I love the drums in here. I am so glad that we're back to some live drums because that was something that we did get away from after the first couple songs on the first side. And now that I know that some of these are live drums, I'm like all over it because it's so great how they go crazy. I love hearing those tom-toms and the riffs when he sings, now he's come where no hearts beat, the fill-in right before the chorus. The
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. There's so many other good examples, but that was one that I was like, oh, this is great. You could just tell he was having so much fun in recording this and adding little different effects, some cymbals here and there. They really help elevate the song a little bit above just a straightforward song. You know, like that helps bring it up a notch or two, I think.
Totally agree with you. My favorite thing about the song is the awesomeness of the rhythm section and what they're giving us.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The bass line just bops along amazingly.
Fat, bouncy synth bass. That's what I call it.
It makes me so happy to listen to. It makes my foot go crazy.
Right.
Just tapping. And then the drums, which, you know, I've now learned that they are a mix of live drums and drum machine. They just sound so great. In a song this electronic, in my brain, it seems that you would want 100% drum machine, but they didn't give it to us, and it sounds awesome.
Right.
I love it. You know, it's counterintuitive to my brain, but they know way better than I do because this is great. The bass and drums make this song. It's the high point of the tune.
I agree. Other than, of course, Morton's vocals, because, you know, he's always awesome.
No, he is always awesome, but I even ranked the rhythm section above Morton on this particular song. The problem with this song, and I don't even mean that it's a problem. What I think people have a problem with is the simple fact that this song isn't as advanced in terms of songwriting, as I mentioned before. And it sounds like it could have fit on Hunting High and Low, I think.
Yeah.
Without too much trouble. So because of those two factors, it does sound slightly out of place on this record. However, if you consider that this song sounds slightly out of place with what has come before it, much of side 2 is going to sound out of place on this record.
Right.
And we're going to find that out next time, although you guys all know it because you've heard the record in your life. You know, this record is ultimately not going to have a consistent sound.
I agree.
And I think the fact is people who think that this song has a problem, like I said, it's not as sophisticated a song.
Yeah, which again baffles me why it didn't do better in the U.S. because this is the closest thing you're going to get to Take On Me Part 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is, verse, chorus, verse, it's very much more on that same line as Take On Me. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, like I said, I think the rhythm section is the best. You also mentioned Morton's vocal. I think Morton's vocals on here are just as good as, the vocals we were raving about on the title track, and I've Been Losing You. Even if the song isn't up to the level of those tracks in terms of composition, Morton is raising the level with his singing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And which I think you said, I have that in my notes as well. He's doing a fantastic job this time around after, kind of disappointing me a little bit in October.
Yeah.
Last
Right.
time.
He's doing some little ad-libs. We talked about that. In the second verse, he gets a little growly when he says, you can't give up. Well, you can't give up. You can't give up. I can't do it, but, he does that. The chorus is wonderful because you get a lot of voices in the chorus and there's a little bit of echo or reverb, kind of gives the vocals a bit of a haunting effect. And the harmonies, of course, are very, very nice as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the choruses sound great. It's
Yes.
a simple chorus, but it sounds great. It sounds so full and well produced.
The thing about it is it's very catchy, easy to remember, easy to sing along with. Maybe the oohs are a little hard for the guys to sing along with, but just drop it an octave. But another good crowd kind of song that you can sing along with in a stadium or in a concert setting.
Mm-hmm. Now, I might have trouble singing along with this one because I have to say I've heard the song hundreds of times in my life, but I don't know any of the lyrics to this other than the chorus because I really have a lot of trouble understanding what he's singing.
Yeah.
I guess I've never sat down with the lyrics. For me to remember a lyric, I either have to read it and sing along with it or write them. If I write things, I can remember them that's my best way of memorizing things is writing something a lot of times. And so, back in high school, I was always writing Depeche Mode song lyrics in the margins of my notebooks and stuff. So that's why to this day I remember every Depeche Mode lyric. But this is one that I just cannot retain any words to this song.
Yeah. I understand that. I did not really know the words to the song, most of the words to the song, before I did research for this episode. I like how it starts off. The first lines of the verse, and the mag came up with those pretty early on and was real proud of them. He came from where the winds are cold and truth is seen through keyholes. I really liked the imagery evoked from those lines.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I had no clue that's what he said.
Well,
if I try to sing along with this, I always sing, he came from where the winds are cold through this secret keyhole.
Yeah, that's okay. And then, there's another section that I didn't know what he was saying, of course. You can tell all your desperate jokes to a world who puts your love on hold.
I had no clue.
Wow. What is that? I knew he said desperate, but I never knew he said jokes and puts your love on hold. I did not know what that.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only word I knew in that whole section was desperate.
Yeah, and I thought he was saying desperate attempts because I know that phrase and I didn't know desperate jokes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We've had the lyrics here.
Oh, yeah.
Since
however long.
Yeah. But we just
more than 25 years.
I've been painfully ignorant of them for a long, long time. So basically, this is a 4-minute pop song, and the review that I shared said that it was one-dimensional. I understand where they're coming from when they say that, but I wouldn't say it that way. I would say that this song doesn't aspire to be more than a 4-minute pop song. To me, we've said this a number of times over the years, I'm not ashamed of pop music. I don't think rock music is better than pop music.
Yeah.
If you can write an amazing pop song, it's an amazing song. You've written it. And so, that's what this is. It's not even doing a lot of the regular pop music tricks to keep things interesting, which may or may not be a good thing. We don't get a key change at the end. It's 4 minutes long, but nothing changes in terms of the key. There's no drastically different middle 8 to kind of wake you up if you've fallen asleep. Now, there is a little section of the song when you get to where the middle 8 would be. Mm-hmm. What they do is they just kind of drop all the music out except for the rhythm section.
Right.
And there's a good number of measures. I was going to count it, but I forgot. But it goes on for quite some time where just the drums and bass. And at first, at the end of a measure, you get a keyboard chord. And then after another measure, there's 4 notes in a measure. You get something on like the second note and the fourth one. Like they gradually add more to it. And then you get a very, very brief section where Morton says, the sunken in eyes and the pain in his cries, a shape in the dark, which up until today, I didn't even think was a middle 8. I thought it was just like another verse. The melody of that is different than the melody of the verses.
That's almost like a pre-chorus.
But it's a pre-chorus that's in the position of the song where middle 8 always would be. So
A little different. about 2:17, we get some really big synth punches in that section where.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun, and that's where we keep the energy level going. We don't get a release or a relief in this song. It's like driving the whole way through with just a little bit of less effects in the middle part than the rest of the song.
Well, I think the relief of the song, if this song is building up tension, if it is doing that, I think the relief comes with a very cool trick that they do in the last 90 seconds of the song, which comprises, like I said, nothing more than just the chorus over and over. But somewhere in the middle of all that, they do what I consider to be a very rock and roll thing, where they drop out all the music, they raise the level of the drums, and they do the chorus one time through with like a lot of effects on Morton's voice.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that little section, the synths go dun dun, and then it goes back to what we're used to. That part is great, and it gets you really, really psyched. Like if you were seeing this live or something, I mean, I can easily see throwing your fists in the air in that part, singing the chorus, and that would be the release of all the energy built up from the song.
Okay.
I really, really love that part. I've always thought that was awesome. It's probably my favorite part of the song.
Okay.
And I don't know, it just reminds me of something. I can't think of any particular song, but it seems like if Queen was doing I Want It All live, there would be a part, and there is actually in that song, where the music drops out and you just say, I want it all.
Right.
This is the synth equivalent of that.
Okay.
I think it works really, really well.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. So we definitely like the song.
Yeah, man, I'm mad at all these people who are bad-mouthing it.
Well, let's talk about the video. Well, we got our good friend Steve Barron at the helm again.
That's right. We mentioned him last time that he did Manhattan Skyline, and we were glad to see him because we thought the video for I've Been Losing You was so disappointing.
It was, yeah. And so this is their second single. Somehow they found some time to do something a little bit more exciting than just a performance video. And they actually went to France and filmed some of this one at the Castle of Couches. Probably not couches, but that's what it looks like. The Chateau de Couche in Burgundy, France. It was filmed at a castle, and there is also some concert footage interspersed with that.
And you talked about a fake crowd.
Yeah.
In the intro for the song, we're going to see a fake crowd here in the video as well.
Yeah, this video is kind of interesting, the way it was put together, because it starts off and they're on stage. There's a crowd in front of them. At least it looks like a crowd.
Yeah, but there's not really. You can tell it's like a fake. There probably wasn't a green screen technology back then.
No, it's probably just a matte painting or something.
No, because it's moving. It's probably just like a projection.
Yeah, that's the word. But Morton is not paying attention at all. He's got his back turned to he's like mesmerized by something behind him.
Sarah, I was so baffled by this video that I went through it almost scene by scene.
Okay.
And
you have notes on every scene?
I took notes on so much stuff in this video.
Oh my gosh.
And so I don't know what kind of notes you have.
Not that many. I mean, I have some, but
all right.
I mean, like not nearly. I don't have scene by scene notes, so you're probably going to have to drive this.
I'm happy to do that. As you guys know, I'm happy to take charge when I need to, Sarah. But feel free. Seriously, don't let me run all over you here.
Okay.
Interrupt me or jump in anytime you want.
All right, I will do that.
I have to say that I really, really like this video. Mm-hmm. I don't think I understand any of it. It makes no sense to me, but I enjoyed watching it a lot. I watched it like 3 or 4 times.
That sounds like a good 80s video then. That sounds very, very typical of an 80s video. Like, this was great. I have no idea what just happened, but it was fun to watch. And that's kind of the key, right?
So it starts and we see the scene you mentioned, this on stage footage. And I'm immediately afraid that we're going to get another terrible performance video like I've Been Losing You. However, after a few seconds, I realized that we aren't really seeing them play a show. The audience is a special effect. And Morton, like you said, turns and looks away from the fake crowd and becomes a bit of a slack-jawed yokel. His mouth just drops open. It's hanging open.
What did our friend say on the voicemail? His mouth dropped like a fish.
Like a fish at feeding time.
Yes, that was it.
That's right. James nailed that one. That's what Morton looks like. And the camera zooms in on Morton's eyes.
Yes.
It's kind of far back. You can see his whole body. Zooms up to his face and just his eyes. And his eyes become the gateway to the world of the music video.
Oh my goodness.
Now we are going to cut to the days of yore.
I don't know, maybe.
And a young boy is walking with an old man who I assumed was his grandfather. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure about that because the old man doesn't seem too concerned about the young boy later in the video. But the boy has obviously stolen something, which he is taking pains to hide in his jacket.
Yes, that's right.
So the old man takes the boy home, you said he walks into a barn.
Yeah.
The inside looks disgusting. It's a filthy
full
area
of-
that you wouldn't live in.
Yeah.
But they're walking down a main street in the town.
Yeah.
The boy walks up steps. There's no barn. It's like on the main street of town where steps would lead you up to the front door of a barn. The brief shot that you see, I'm pretty sure is like a house.
See, I didn't think that they were that close to the house. I thought that some time had passed and that they were farther away.
I don't think so, because you see the boy walk up steps. You see
Okay.
his feet go up these steps.
Okay.
And then he walks through a door.
And then that's where he is.
And that's where he is. And he throws himself down on the ground in this filthy house that looks like a barn, admittedly, but I don't think it is. I wrote, he goes inside to read his pilfered tome and reveal to us that he lives in conditions worse than a barn. This house is a mess.
I feel like it has to be a barn because he's taking it. If he really stole the book, he wouldn't just bring that right into the house. He's going to take it somewhere secret, somewhere safe, right? He's going to go off somewhere and read it so they don't catch him.
Just because you start paraphrasing Gandalf from Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings doesn't mean I'm going to side with you. But all I know is maybe he walks up those steps, goes through a house, out a back door, through down a
Yeah.
sidewalk into a barn. But if that's what he does, they don't
Yeah.
show us any of that.
No.
We see him go up the steps, open a door, and then we see him go into a room where he doesn't close the door
No, he does not.
and immediately starts
What, were you
reading.
raised in a barn?
Yeah, good question. Maybe he was. But before we see exactly what he stole,
Yeah.
we get an entire verse of Morton, who is standing on a castle wall, and the camera coming up from behind him and moving over his shoulder
Yeah.
to show us the town that Morton is surveying, which I assume is where the boy lives. But we really see this happen like 2 or 3 times. Like the camera comes over
Yeah.
Morton's right shoulder and over top of him, and you're like, didn't I just see this shot a second ago? You probably could have thought of something else to do.
Well, it was expensive. They only had money for one shot.
Well, if you think that was expensive, Sarah, after that part on the wall, we're going to cut to the band, the full band, going through a quick run through the countryside.
Yes, they are.
And I guess they're doing this to show off more expensive 80s special effects
Yes,
that get
they-
used in videos simply because they existed and
Yep.
not because they make the video any better.
Oh, yes. I am so glad that you brought this up because absolutely, yes, very 80s. I put on the funny effects in this video, the rectangle outlines around their faces and their eyes as they are running down the road.
Yep.
Like,
and
why?
there's no purpose to it.
Why? Look, we can put a shape around them.
Yep.
Look, we can make a frame that's like off
A
kilter.
trapezoid.
Oh,
and make
wow.
it shake a little bit.
It's so fancy. Look how cool we are. I love it.
Is there a reason for it? Well, no. I mean, but we
course.
spent all the money to buy this effect,
Yeah.
so we should use it.
We have it. We should use it. Push all the buttons.
Yes, exactly. So that happens for a while. Then Mags tries to run across a path,
Oh yeah, and he
falls.
down. Yeah, that was sad.
which cuts to, after I watched this a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
I actually was wondering if it was intentional, because it then cuts to the boy again, and we
Uh-huh.
see him once again kind of hurl his body down into that hay.
Right.
I'm like, are they trying to make a connection between the band? Mags falls forward onto his hands and knees, and then the boy does the same thing, but I don't think they are.
Yeah.
It just happens. So the boy falls down, or he jumps down to the floor, where he starts reading the book that he had hidden in his jacket, something he must have stolen, and it's a pop-up book. Do you remember pop-up books?
Sure.
I thought pop-up books were fantastic when
They
I was a
were.
kid. I love comic books the most, but I was also, my second favorite book would be a pop-up book.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, this pop-up book that he's looking at is kind of like the more boring kind, where it's
Okay.
just like a 3-dimensional scene. I like the one where you could like pull the tabs and like
Yeah.
a character's arm would move or
Uh-huh.
something like that. That was the kind I liked.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those were better.
But he has stolen an AHA pop-up book, and
Yes, he has.
kind of grosses me out because he wipes his runny nose with his hand and starts paging through the book. I'm like, why did they bother to show us that his nose was running?
I don't know, because he's a kid. I don't know.
Kids are gross. They got germs.
They do.
So he wipes his runny nose, and then he pages through the book, and we get some effects of the band being pages in the pop-up book.
Right.
So AHA always has these great things. Like the last video we talked about, we saw them as part of a crossword puzzle. And of
Yeah.
course, Take On Me, they're in a comic book reality. And here we get them as sort of pop-up
Yeah,
book
so they're
characters.
just all over different kinds of printed literature. Apparently, this is just how they portray themselves. And
Yep.
yeah, newspapers, comic books, pop up books. Yeah, what's next? An encyclopedia? I don't know.
I'll have to wait and see. So as he pages through it, he watches them perform the song, and then his cat runs out of the house. The boy's cat runs out of the house, probably because it's so filthy, and the boy didn't shut the door on his way in. So it's that moment when the cat leaves, he turns the page, and all of a sudden there's a sinister, dark wolf
Yes.
that makes an appearance in the pop-up book.
Right.
And then I noticed it's suddenly nighttime outside, even though it wasn't just a second ago. But now it's completely dark outside.
Right.
So it's night out. There's a dark wolf
Wolf.
in the book. And we see the boy dragging someone by the hand. I assumed that he went and got his grandfather to help him look for the cat. However, it's soon revealed that he is leading a band of townsfolk,
Yes.
complete with burning torches,
Right.
through the night.
Uh-huh.
Upon seeing this, I think I made the assumption that we're supposed to assume that the wolf has captured the cat, and now he's asked the townspeople to help him try to save his cat from the wolf. There's got to be, I'm trying to find what the story is here.
Yeah.
But the crowd stands outside of this dark house,
It's like a castle.
which the boy seems to be physically pained or frightened just being there. Like it shows the place, and then it shows him, and he
he's like,
winces.
Hate this place.
Before he can even say, let's save my cat, all the townspeople lose interest in this. they just like stop
They're like,
and they disperse and they walk
this
home.
place. Oh, you're taking us here. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, forget it. Let's go home.
So the boy wanders home alone by lantern light. He's holding a lantern as something watches him from the safety of the woods.
Yeah.
You get a shot that's obviously like a creature in the woods eyeing him up as he walks.
Yeah. Could it be, I don't know, a wolf?
It probably is a wolf.
Okay.
It could be a cat just saying, ha ha,
I'm a sneaky cat.
I'm
Ha,
sneaky
ha,
and
ha.
you're trying to find me. But we never really find out. He returns home. He watches Aha perform the rest of the song in the book as Paul tries his best to convince us that the synth chords are coming from his guitar. But then we return to the shot of Morton's eyes, and the camera retreats from him, making us wonder if the entire thing was in Morton's mind. But it's also revealed that the version of Aha that we saw at the start of the video, the one we thought was the real band as opposed to the version of them that was in the book,
Yeah.
was actually in the book the whole time.
Oh, no.
So was this entire video a daydream of a pop-up book version of Morton Harkett about the very same boy who happened to be reading the pop-up book at the time?
Whoa.
Because I guess that when Morton turns his back to the crowd and looks stunned, it was because he could see the boy reading the book.
Oh.
Because when Morton turns behind
Yeah.
him, that's where the boy would be
Right.
as he watched them perform on stage. But there's two different Mortons in here.
Yeah.
There's the one who's on stage, whose eyes we zoom in on.
Yeah.
And then there's the Morton who was in the town
Right.
frolicking and things like
Yeah.
that.
All right.
Like, did that whole thing happen in fake Morton's mind?
Well, let's think about the very first line of the song. Night I left the city, I dreamt of a wolf. So maybe it is a dream. So he's now in a new city on tour.
Right.
And he is somehow mesmerized. Something behind him. Maybe it made a noise. Maybe something captured his attention behind him on the stage at this new city after he left this other city, where suddenly he just remembered that he had this dream about a wolf and about a boy stealing a book about a wolf.
Is that boy young Morton Harkett? Is that a dream of himself?
No, it's a young Mags, of course, because they both fall the same way.
They do both fall.
And Mags wrote the song. So yeah, it's Mags. He's dreaming about Mags.
Now, here's another question.
All right.
Of course, you have to make the connection because of the fact that this video stars a young boy.
Yes.
You have to make the connection of the boy who cried wolf.
Well, of course. Yes.
Is that why the townspeople just sort of abandoned him? Because
Well, yeah.
we don't know what he said to them to even get them rallied together. So we don't know if he said, like,
Hey.
there's a wolf terrorizing the city, or if he said, please come help me find my cat. Or like if he said there's an evil castle and like
Yeah.
he somehow gets them to that castle,
Right.
but then they're so disgusted with him and the fact that he's the boy who cries wolf
Yeah.
that they just abandon him.
So whatever he told them to get them up with their torches to where they ended up not panning out the
Right.
way they expected.
Right.
And they just left in disgust.
And we'll never know what he even said to them to rally them.
No, we will not.
It's so frustrating.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why I care so much
You
about
really do
but
care.
this video has
I wish I cared.
nice pull. This video has gotten into my brain, and I really want to understand the storyline of it. And I feel like there's no way you ever could.
No, I doubt that the director even put that much work into the plot as you're trying to piece all these disparate parts together into something coherent and cohesive. I don't think it's possible. I just don't. This has been a very enjoyable discussion, and I think it's all for naught. I think it's just, no, it doesn't make sense, and that's okay because it's an 80s music video.
Yeah. Speaking of the 80s, I think Morton looks wonderfully 80s.
Yes, he
with
does.
his clothes, but I was disappointed in the other two guys who look very normal.
Well, I mean, they still got the hair.
Yeah, they have the hair, but I mean in terms of their outfits. They're just wearing kind of normal
was
clothes. A
tough to
sweater.
get-
Max has a sweater on.
Yeah, well, that was
Who
sort
goes
of-
running in a sweater?
Yeah, well, someone who's not planning to run very far, apparently. This was not a exercise session. This was, I've got to run. I better go. They better frame my eyebrows or my my face.
Yeah. So even with all my frustration
Yeah.
and my lack of understanding of the plot, I think this is a really enjoyable video.
Yeah, I hope that we hear from some of you on this video and what you think it might mean or doesn't mean, and see if you like it. You think it helps or hurts the song? What are your thoughts? We'd love to know.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you guys in all seriousness, and I'm using guys in just a very general way, men and women who are listening. I often say things like, let us know what you think about this, or
Yeah.
leave us a review. It really helps us. And all of that is true. But I have never, ever cared more than I do right now, and I have never wanted to hear from you more than I do right now. If we could get like 50 people on
Oh my
Facebook
gosh.
replying and saying, this is what I think happens, and this is what I think of the video, I would say that's a good start.
Okay.
Because I want to hear from
Oh, man.
200 people
Oh my goodness.
about this video.
All right.
I am
Facebook,
counting.
Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can.
I am counting on all of you to come through
Okay.
big time for
I
me
am
this
as
time.
well, because if you don't, then I'm going to hear it. I'm going to hear him complaining the whole time, and no one is saying anything.
How long is the drive for our vacation coming up, Sarah? Next 8 hours? 9 hours?
It's probably 8 hours. Yeah, it's probably 8 hours, 8.5, 9.
If I don't
Till-
get
yeah.
enough information from our friends that are listening to this, unfortunately, you're gonna have 8 hours of car rides with me complaining that I still don't understand this video.
Oh boy, that's not going to be good.
So how about your friend Sarah, guys? She's everyone's
Please,
favorite host.
Please
Help her out. Let us know what you think about this
save
video.
me from this fate.
All right, so that is our discussion of Cry Wolf. I hope I did a good enough job getting my L in the word wolf.
Okay.
So next time we all get together, we are going to finish our discussion of Aha's second LP, Scoundrel Days.
Oh my goodness.
Looking forward to that. And things are about to get interesting as some of the record's flaws are finally going to come to light.
What?
We're not going to be talking about anything as bad as October, Sarah, but
Okay.
it's going to be revealed that the insanely high standard of the first side is going to be difficult to live up to on the second side.
Oh boy.
So we'll talk about the rest of the songs and then figure out what we want to grade this album. And with the exception of October, I have loved every track on this record so far. But will that continue?
I don't know.
Join us next time and find out.
Ooh.
But before we go, we have 2 reviews. You guys came through wonderfully for us last time. We hadn't gotten a review in a while, and we got 2 since we last recorded an episode, Sarah.
Oh, spectacular. I love reviews. And you guys are always so nice about leaving us very good reviews. We are very grateful. They do really help the show. We learned that for sure earlier this year when we saw a lot of reviews and saw our ratings change and our rankings change on Apple Podcasts. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So we've got 2 here.
That's right, we do. So the first one is from the Apple Podcast US site, and it's from R2 Family. It's a 5-star review called Friends I Didn't Know I Had. And the review says, not just nostalgic, smart and fun. And if they keep talking about Aha, I will listen forever. Well, at the rate we're going, we may be talking about Aha
I
forever.
know. Yeah, if we do it one song at a time. Yeah.
So we're happy to have you aboard this year-long project of ours to talk about Scoundrel Days.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time for the review, and I'm glad you see some value to the podcast other than just pure nostalgia. We try our best to be fun and to share some information. We don't know all this stuff about the music ourselves. Part of our reason for doing this is to try to learn interesting things about the music that we love, and then we try to pass that on to you. So we hope that that's enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I get to read the other review, don't I?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because it's from someone that we communicate with on Twitter pretty frequently. And she sends me pictures of otters, and I love it. So this is from Stacy Nicholson.
Stacy Nicholson is one of the nicest people on social media.
Yeah.
She's the one who sent us the Scottish suffragette trading cards.
Right. Those were super cool.
Yeah.
So the review is titled A Fantastic Music Podcast, and it is 5 stars. So thank you. And Stacy says, I love this show. Brian and Sarah are excellent hosts. They thoroughly research whatever band they are talking about and present it in a fun and lighthearted way. It's also nice to hear their connections to each band or song. I would highly recommend this for any music fan. Oh, thank you, Stacy.
Yep, thank you so much, Stacy. It was so kind of you to write up that nice review and to help support the show. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. So
Stacy is awesome because she's into like really old movies.
Right.
Like she's into all these films from the 40s. Mm-hmm. And she's even, I think, a fan of Jack Benny, who I think is hilarious. I think that's how I met her, actually, because somebody posted something about Jack Benny and she was on the thread. I kind of forget. I think that's how we met her.
Yeah, well, I know she's a mutual friend of Tom.
Oh, yes,
Tom
that's
Austin
right.
Morgan.
That's how we met him.
Yeah.
Through the wonderful Tom Austin Morgan.
Yes, a Band Biographies podcast.
I love that guy.
I know.
Stacy and Tom are just about two of the best people.
Oh, lots of love being shared here. I love it.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you want some love given your way, send us a review on Apple Podcasts and we will share some love with you.
And we want to thank you for listening to this episode on AHA. We're going to finish up the record next time. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Hey, we're doing a lot better on Instagram.
So much better.
We've really made great strides.
Yep.
Yay.
We've
Yay
been
us.
posting there. Hey, that's great. So if you aren't following us there, please consider it. And that's the best way to get me your opinions on this video that I'm dying to hear.
Please help me. Help me.
So thanks, guys. We'll be back in the second half of August, I guess, because we'll be away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Guys, have a good rest of July, which is over in about 5 hours.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in August.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sing